I am back with the final LA Colors collection from Dollar Tree until they release something else. So we can finally be done with this whole kind of topic here and move on to some other collections that I have. So we're going to go through the entire LA Colors Ciao Bella collection. I hope I'm saying that correctly. We're going to go through, as I always do, right, the swatches. If you're reading the Substack, you'll be able to see the products on my face, and I'll tell you about the experience, the packaging, the whole 9 yards, and if it's worth your money. And with that being said, I just haven't had time, like the past weekend or this weekend, to do an actual blog post. Sometimes my life is just more chaotic than other times, which, is the same for everybody listening here. So I just am going with the Substack because that is always faster for me to do. That is the intention with these, is to be less produced and just having fun and putting something out there. So I will stick with the Substack given the time that I have, but of course I'm not done with blogging. That's something that I'm going to continue to do for the foreseeable future. But also with summer somewhat on the way, my deadline is always Memorial Day to also get the outside of the house all cleaned up and ready. And it's hard to do that right now. It's not just hard to find the time, but the weather is all over the place. We have some days that are in the 70s and the 80s, other days that are in the 40s and the 50s, and it just will not stay consistent. So we have to find the time and appropriate days to do those things, which is going to take me away from content creation. I know that I don't owe anybody an explanation on that. This is real life. We are adulting, but the podcast is always here to keep things real. So that's where I'm at, but I am planning my all-encompassing blog post to talk about the Wet n Wild 2026 new releases, which I split from like the regular stuff and the Chameleon Chrome stuff. So I need to get those out and get some things revamped and rewritten. So that is where I'm going to kind of put a bookend on that, so I can move into some other related content things that I want to do. Okay, so enough on that. Let's talk about what is going on in this Dollar Tree collection that feels like, at least with the shade names, like an Italian vacation, right? So there is really something about a themed makeup collection that is inexpensive, and a Dollar Tree, it's either going to feel pretty effortless and well done or just chaos. You never know what you're going to get. But the Ciao Bella collection, with the names, they're kind of giving you, again, that breezy Italian sort of summer vibe. And it really does hold its own. And you're going to see some products here that kind of feel like Rare Beauty, or they just feel like more of like a higher end blush situation or a lip situation. And it's really not a collection that is meant to be bold or dramatic. It's not like a quaddy glam and the whole mermaid thing they had going on, right? This is living in more of like a softer, wearable, everyday space. Maybe to kind of stay in line with clean girl aesthetic. And let me know if you think that is here to stay. It's still going on. It's dying. I seem to see a lot of back and forth about that online, of people saying they're tired of it, or it's going away. It has gone away. It won't go away. There's so much there, and I'm just as confused as you are. But this is the kind of makeup that you are going to reach for when you want an easy, effortless look, and you want to look put together, and you don't want a 25-piece, makeup look for the day, right? So we're going to get into it here, as I always do, my tried and true format of product by product and star ratings and swatches and what have you. I'm going to start with the Tinted Lip Oil. So I've seen the lip oil various different times from LA Colors, and it seems like in every collection, the formula is a little bit different in terms of how it leaves the lips feeling. But at the end of the day, this is one of those formulas. It's kind of no surprises, no shockers, no overpromising. It knows what it's supposed to do. You basically know what to expect here. Now, okay, it has a tiny applicator. You know how that makes me feel, and I don't get it. I gotta dip in several times to really get that juicy lip. But it is still a nice formula. So it is not an oily, kind of sticky, heavy, greasy sort of situation. It's not the type of lip oil that starts to work its way off the edges of your lips and start to like feather out and bleed or like mess up your lip liner. And I'll get to this in a future Substack, but this week I tried a lip liner and a lip oil combo from Dollar Tree. It was at Oni and Koki. I've never had this happen where it really like pushed the pigment of the lip liner off the edges of my lips, and it was just feathering and bleeding like crazy, and I just kept like wiping off the lip line, and it every time I looked, just like 4 times, it was just coming off the lips. And it's a really good lip liner formula that I've worn with all sorts of glosses and other things already, so it happens. But it's top of mind when I'm thinking about the lip oils and the lip liner in this collection. And that's never really happened to me all too much before, but that was a unique situation. But anyway, so you can reapply this lip oil. It's not going to be like thick and building up and getting gunky in the center of the lips, nothing like that. But when it does wear off, it's not going to change how your lips feel. It's not going to be soft and conditioning. It just does nothing for the lips. You also don't feel that residue. Like a lot of products that are kind of more conditioning or clingy, they leave a little bit of residue behind on the lips, which I kind of like, but you don't get that here. And it comes in 3 colors. You get Classy and Clear, Tiramisu, and Tomato Girl. And I rated these 4 out of 5 stars because I have tried LA Colors lip oil that felt like it was conditioning the lip a little bit. But these colors are nice. They're pretty. And they're worth keeping. And I added an extra note here. I don't want to go off on this again, but apparently when you use emojis in your writing, people just automatically assume that it is AI, which is crazy to me because emojis have been around, emoji keyboards on our phones and such, well before AI. And I have my MacBook set that when I hit the FN button, it automatically opens the emoji keyboard. I've been doing star ratings in my blog content for years now, and when I'm on my WordPress website, it has the ability to insert an actual like star rating widget, and you can click on it and make it be like 4 stars, whatever. But when you're on Substack, you don't have that, so I'm sure I could HTML code or like put something in here, right? But it's just easier to use emojis, and it translates across all devices in the email perfectly fine. It doesn't turn into like little like block symbols, right? But now every time I use an emoji and something, I'm like, oh, here I go, I'm a robot again. I'm AI. Like, we got to stop going around every corner like looking for AI and demonizing people and things because we think it might be AI. Like, no, a bullet point list is not indicative of AI, nor is an emoji or anything of that nature. But if you want me to start sticking rocket ship emojis in the middle of random sentences and stuff just to rile people up, you know I will. But that's that. And then next they have liquid blush, and this packaging is the kind where it's like a squeeze tube, but it has a wand applicator in it, and it's definitely a strong item from this overall collection. It's going to give you control and flexibility if you like that, of course. So it's very buildable. You don't really have to worry about going heavy-handed, and if you want to keep it soft or you want to wear it a bit more noticeable, you can do that, and it's not going to get patchy, and it's not going to lift up your base, anything like that. It's not going to separate. It dries down to a matte finish, but it's not like dry or flat, and your skin really looks like skin with these. So it's very nice. And I, take liquid blush like this and I dab it on the cheeks, and I always blend it out with a brush, and it works perfectly fine that way. It sets down, it stays put. And I say this a lot, but I find that it did not fade throughout the day, but I don't have a whole lot of issue with blush and things fading on me. So ultimately what you put on in the morning is going to look the same many hours later. And I gave these a 5 out of 5 stars. Very nice. There's also liquid highlighters in this collection, and there's 3 shades. And this packaging is where they are really going after Rare Beauty. Very similar to the blush lighter, which I reviewed recently and previously. And I've never tried the Rare Beauty ones, but of course I've seen them in plenty of videos, and they look to be more of like a buildable but like a high impact metallic look if you want that. You're actually not going to get that with these, even though I think they kind of look like that in the tube. So this isn't like a bam, wet look, shimmer, metallic. It's very subtle and gentle, like a lit from within glow. I imagine this is the type of look that people are trying to get with like hourglass setting powders, right? And with that being said, it is not buildable. So I've tried to build it up. It's really a what you see, what you get kind of situation. So either you're going to like this from your highlighter, or it's just not going to be enough oomph for you. So if you like a 2016 highlighter look, as we say, this isn't going to do that for you. I always blend my liquid highlighter out with my fingers. It dries down very well, and I also find that it lasts all day and didn't interfere with the base coverage and get patchy, anything like that. Listen to these names of these shades, okay? Just the Prosecco, Limoncello Lies, and Let's Go April Rolling. I hope I'm saying these things correctly. I'm a terrible Italian, aren't I? So the final one there, that one is actually too deep for my skin tone. That is not fair skin friendly. But I bought it because I want to review the entire collection and swatch all of it. So I'm going to end up putting that shade in my donate bin. But in order to at least use it for this review, I ended up mixing it into my foundation, and it didn't really change anything there. It didn't give any glow, didn't make it dark. It just didn't do anything. So it is so subtle. If you use this formula as a mix-in, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of difference. So I rated these 4 out of 5 stars, and more so because I like a BAM highlighter. And nothing on the packaging really indicated that it was going to be like a barely there, soft, subtle sort of thing. So I don't know if they were going for that or not, okay? Next in this collection, there are 3 auto lip liners. And they also put out lip liners by themselves too. So I have several other lip liners to test for you all. But here they're doing like these nudie shades, right? And this is just a standard, basic, like retractable lip liner. It's reliable. It's going to do its thing. I thought it was a perfectly good formula. It's not too creamy. It's not too waxy. It just glides right on and gives you that full coverage matte pigment. And it's not going to skip or tug. Ultimately, just really easy to use. Exactly what a retractable lip liner should be. And as I had already noted already, it holds up very well under the lip oil. And even after the lip oil mostly wears off, I was surprised by how much of the lip liner was still left on the lips. It wasn't fully there, but it didn't disappear either. And at this price point, that can actually be hard to come by, right? So the lip oils aren't breaking down the lip liner in a way like I experienced this week when I was trying those new products, where it's like pushing it out and feathering it and just looks like a mess. So I think there's absolutely nothing wrong with these lip liners. They're solid. They're worth collecting. You want some new lip liners, it's really just as simple as that. And these ones are called Amalfi Coast, Iced Coffee, and Linen Nude, and I gave them a 5 out of 5 stars. I ought to try them with that Koki lip oil and see, maybe it's just something in that lip oil formula. I mean, it's an oil. Oils break down makeup. So the idea of layering it over other things is always a little bit crazy to me, but I don't know. It just did not work this week. But anyway, final thoughts here. The Ciao Bella collection isn't trying to be everything. It's going to stick to that more kind of like soft, wearable, everyday sort of makeup look. I think LA Colors hit that. It's a very good execution. I think that it's the lip liners and the lip oils, they pair well together, and of course a blush can go with anything. The highlighters make sense. So it's not like one of those collections where I've come out and said like, it's a collection, but I don't really feel like anything goes together or can be worn together. I think they did just a good job here. I really like the liquid blush. I'll say that's my favorite product here, and that's really all just personal preference, because again, I'm not that into a subtle highlighter. So the blush is long wearing, it's easy to control, it's beginner friendly. The lip oils are low maintenance. The highlighter is just a very specific preference. So if you like subtle, you'll appreciate them. If you expected something else, I would keep looking, okay? The lip liners are dependable, and really no extra notes here. They just are what they should be. So everything is fairly cohesive. It makes sense. It hits the vibe. It hits the theme. It's not like LA Colors is doing something random here and I'm saying I'm confused. I don't get it. So I definitely think that this collection is worth it. And as I always say, I don't think that you need to buy every single item. So look at the highlighters and think, what's going to work best for your skin tone. And I know with like these products, it's hard to predict what the end color is going to be because you don't get a lot of information on Dollar Tree packaging. But for the most part, like LA Colors is trying to match the color of the product to the package. So, look at those blushes and think, is this a color that I'm probably going to want to wear? So on and so forth. But of course, you have my swatches and everything to refer to. So grab what you think you're actually going to gravitate to. But I preach that every single time, of course, with makeup. And that's it. So pretty short, sweet, and simple. So next time around, as long as time is permitting when I go to do this, I want to dig into the Ioni collections. So I have La Dolce Vita, another kind of like vacation-y kind of vibe, and Cherry on top. But those have several products, and it's going to take longer to obviously swatch and produce a post like that. So if I don't have time, I'll go with something shorter and sweeter. I have not found the Cowgirl collection as of yet, but it seems like it takes some time for us to get the collections anyways, so it is what it is. So I will see you next time, or hear you next time, or read, however you want to communicate with me, and thank you for listening.